Hello, my dear lovely students of class 9th. So, I will be starting with chapter 2, which is polynomials. And once you will get acquainted with the learning process, I will come back on to the number system, which is chapter 1. And progressively, I will cover all the chapters along with the fundamental concepts and solved examples, and will take up unsolved examples also wherever required. So I'll first come to the polynomial. You would have already known your previous classes, class 6, 7th and 8th, about the algebraic expressions in x and y. Suppose there is an algebraic expression 2x plus 3y plus 2 is there, x minus y minus z is there, and you would have read about x plus y whole square is x square plus 2xy plus y square, x square minus 2xy plus y square is x minus y square. All this you have read. So here x and y used to be the variables which you used to solve to get the answers where the unknowns were given in the form of x and y. So these are all the algebraic expressions. So and there were different variables x, y and z. So we'll talk more about polynomials now in this. What is polynomial? Now we consider an expression which is given only in one variable. There is no y and z in this. X square plus 7x plus y. You can see that I have written an expression x square plus 7x plus 4. In the above expression, we call it as an algebraic expression, and we now we can write it as x to the power 2 plus 7x to the power 1 plus 4x to the power 0. So any number or any variable to the power 0 is always 1. That also you know from your previous classes. So here I have put in the square 2, 1 and 0. So all these are the exponents. These are all the exponents of the different terms. So all red mark exponents. So these expressions are called polynomials in which the exponents are in the whole numbers. The exponents are in the whole numbers. In the polynomial x square plus 7x plus 4, there are three terms. The first term is x square, second term is 7x, third term is 4. So you must understand the polynomial should have the exponent in whole numbers, and the different terms are given by x square is one term, 7x is one term and 4, and they are all added or subtracted with whatever sign it is there. So this is how the polynomials are expressed. So there are some properties of the polynomials. I'll come on to that. The first one is if x square plus 7, the first one I have written as term because each number is called as term. X square is a term, 7x is a term, 4 is also a term. The second property is if x square plus 7x plus 4, you see that the coefficient of x square is 1, coefficient of x is 7. I have now covered in the square. So these are called as the coefficient of each terms. So you must understand what is term, what is the coefficient of each term, what is an exponent which is given here. These are called the exponents. Now third property is minus 2, 5 and 7. These are all the numbers. So these we called as a constant polynomials. I can write minus 2 as minus 2 into x to the power 0. If I have to write it in the form of polynomial, I can write it like this. But this is a constant polynomial which value is minus 2. Now I can take some more expressions x plus 1 by x root x plus 3 plus y to the power root cube plus y square. So all these terms if I write, I can write it as x plus x to the power minus 1, x to the power half plus 3x to the power 0 plus y to the power 1 by 3 plus y to the power 2. So as I have explained, what is polynomial where all the exponent are whole terms. Here you see that the exponent are not the whole numbers. Minus 1, 1 by 2, 0, 1 by 3, 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 0 is a whole number. So there are exponents which are not the whole numbers. So we do not call them as the polynomials. So they do not fall into the category of polynomials. The fifth point is 2x. Suppose there is 2x, 3y, 2 and minus 5x square. I have written 4 polynomials. So I can express this like 2x to the power 1, 3y to the power 1. So why I have written in this form, so that you understand that these are all polynomials. So all the above polynomials, because they have only one term, so we call them as a monomials, means there is only one term in that. Now if a polynomial x plus 1, qx is equal to x square plus 2x, ry is equal to y to the power 7 plus 1. So like the point number 5, in point number 6 you can see that there are two terms in each polynomial. So these are called as binomials. These are called as binomials. Now the next point is, if there are three terms, then we called as trinomials. So the students, you all students should try to write the polynomials with the three terms. You know what is term, you know what is number 3, and you know that none of the polynomials should have any number which should not have exponent which is not a whole number. So like that you can try and write some of the trinomials. This exercise I have left on to you. Anyway, I will cover this and clear the doubts in case you are not able to write the trinomials. Now, the last and the most important point about the polynomial is the degree of a polynomial. If there is any polynomial which has a degree which has 6 power 6, say 5y to the power 6, 4y to the power square plus 6. So, the, the exponent of the highest term, the exponent of the highest term is called as the degree of the polynomial. Here, in this case, the exponent of the highest term is 6. So we call it as the degree of the polynomial is 6. In the second example, highest exponent is 7 in the term. So if any term, the term with the highest exponent is called as the degree of the polynomial. Now the constant polynomial, I can write 2x to the power 0, 5x to the power 0 or 9y to the power 0. So the constant polynomial has a degree 0. This you should remember. If there is a number 0, then it is called as a zero polynomial. If there is any number 0, we call it as a zero polynomial. In general, the standard n degree polynomial is expressed as an to the an into x to the power n. Px is the polynomial of x variable x. We write it as like x. An to the an into x to the power n plus an minus 1 x to the power n minus 1 plus an minus 2 x to the power n minus 2. Like that it continues and it goes to up to the a1x plus a0. This is in general form of a polynomial. Here you know, as you know, an minus 1, an minus 2 and a0, a1, these are called as the coefficient of each term. Here, the degree of a polynomial is n, because the exponent of the highest term is n. So, the degree of the polynomial is n, provided n is not equal to 0. And in this case, if all the coefficients become 0, then it will become a 0 polynomial, because the value of the polynomial will become 0 and it will become a 0 polynomial. And for a 0 polynomial, the degree is not defined. There is no degree which can be defined for a 0 polynomial. So these are some of the very important points you should revise, remember and understand, that what is term, what is exponent, what is coefficient, what is degree of a polynomial, what is monomials, what is binomial, what is trinomial, and what is a zero polynomial. So this will help you to understand and solve the examples given in your CBSE books. Now I will come to another topic, what is zeros of a polynomial. The zero of a polynomial, if c is any number which we call as a zero of a polynomial, px. If there is any polynomial which is defined as px, and if c is any number which is 0 of it, then p of c is 0. If I replace the value of x with c, then p of c, the value of polynomial, should become 0. Hope I'll explain with this an example. Px is equal to x square minus 4x plus 4. If I put x is equal to 2 in this polynomial, here first you should see that this is a polynomial. The each term is a whole number. It's a trinomial. It's a trinomial. The coefficient of x square is 1. the coefficient of x is minus 4, and the constant polynomial has a last term as 4. So everything you can, by seeing this, you can see that it is a polynomial. It is basically a trinomial. So in this, if you put P2 is equal to 2 square minus 4 2, so it has become 0. So x is equal to 2 is a 0 of a polynomial. So you can understand with the definition that x is equal to 2 is a 0 of a polynomial. You can check if x minus x is equal to 2 is a 0 of a polynomial, then of a polynomial px is equal to x square minus 4x plus 4, then polynomial will be divisible by x minus 2, will be divisible by x minus 2. That means x minus 2 is one of the factor of this polynomial. So I'll make use of these zeros of the polynomial to describe the remainder theorem. I'll explain about dividend, divisor, quotient and remainder in my next video. This is a short video for you to understand what is polynomial, what are the properties of the polynomial, and you should solve some of the examples of the book. So very shortly I will explain about the remainder theorem. Thank you.